Joined here by the Voak train, Chris Voak. He's the man in the pink cart. I think there's a chance that it might be saluting a couple of times on Friday night, Voak. Is there a bit of a spring in the step ahead of your book of drives this week?
Yeah, well, I probably got some handy drive compared to the last few weeks. Last week I didn't have a horse in single figures, and the same before the week before that. So it's good to probably have a couple of horses actually in the betting. Not that really the betting indicates a whole lot if horses get the right runs, but yeah, on paper it's handy enough with some luck.
Let's start with the big one, the Group 1 Diamond Classic for these 2-year-old fillies. Run for Mercy. There's a little bit of a spring in the step when you talk about her. Can she win a big Group 1 on Friday night?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she could win it. I like this filly right from, Ross had her and Double Espresso working up, and I said to Ross, if I could have the choice, I'm taking her. As it turned out, Double Espresso won her first 5 straight. But I don't, she hasn't been hidden in any of her races. She's had to sit in the breeze in nearly, I reckon, 80% of them. So she's going to get a good trailing draw. The barrier has been kind to us, unkind to a few of the other major players. So I think it's the most exciting race on the program, to be honest.
It certainly is. Now, in track work, Run for Mercy has certainly been matching Double Espresso?
Well, yeah, Run for Mercy's track work this morning was, it's as good as it's been, and probably, I was lucky enough to drive on Rockaria in the Pearl a few years back, and her work was, every bit as good as his, if not better, and he won the Pearl that year. So it's a strong bunch of fillies. Double Espresso's not a great track worker, but, I think Run for Mercy is very underrated against Double Espresso.
We're looking forward to that race. We're also looking forward to seeing Volton Tin. He's finally got a draw, barrier 2, but he comes up against the Hall Senior Brigade. What do you do here?
Look, he'll have to. The one will just relent. Well, I can't imagine him holding us out. The stablemate. He's, he'll find it tough keeping up, I think, but he will keep up. Yeah, it's a good test. Just depends how much pressure we get. Obviously, Volton Tin's a good free runner out in front, but again, I've said it before, I don't like these 5-horse fields. I reckon it's a waste of time, especially for Volton Tin. They've just got too many horses with speed that'll zap him late, and it's been like that the last few times he's had to sit in the breeze. However, this time he looks to be able to lead, but again, probably got King of Swing peppering you the whole way, and Chicago Bull sitting 1-1, and then even whose idea was this possibly 1-2. So they've got a strong horse and 2 snipers. That's some pretty good artillery.
Yes, it certainly is. Volton Tin, where's he at? Is he coming towards the end of his campaign, or he just can keep going around and around?
Mate, he's had his 2-week freshen up. That's like a 6-week vacation for him. Yeah, who knows? I haven't spoke to Phil about him. Briefly on Sunday, and he said he'll be back in this Friday, but I don't know where he's at or where Phil sort of rates him.
Crystal Sparkles, it goes around in the first event, has come to Perth and run second and then had a win. Steps up to a Friday night race now. Can it be 2 from 3 in Perth?
Draw's awkward. She's hard to get an indication with her at home on track work. She's a very lazy track worker. But I still think she's on the way up. I think, it's nice horses, and I don't really know where we're going to get to. I haven't done too much form study on it, but her record's very good. She very rarely misses the money. So if she can replicate her form, I'd be very impressed with that.
Veiled Secret was pretty good last week in the mares race. Can she go a couple better this week? Finished 3rd last week, obviously. Yeah,
and look, she had a chance last week. I think Ross went a fortnight between runs with her because she had a couple of hard runs in a row, and I think if she had a run under her belt last week, she probably would have got the victory. It sort of got set up for her, and she got driven cute, but she just peaked the last 20 to 40 in that race. Very good field that was. I think if she finds the front this week, she'll be very hard to beat.
Okay, let's talk about another one that might be thereabouts at the front. That's Captured Delight. Yeah. Drawn 1. Do you make the most of that barrier?
Yeah, look, she was very good on yesterday. Mile rate was 2 minutes, but it was a solid last 1200, solid last mile. It's back to the 2100. She's got good genuine gate speed. In the past, she hasn't been a leader, but her last few efforts prior to Monday, she'd sat in the breeze here in Metro grade against good horses and surprised the hell out of me. She actually was a good breeze horse, so we gave her a chance leading yesterday and was very good there too. And that was a pretty hot Stanfield. That was, in my opinion, it was a Metro Stanfield. So, but there's good mares in this race, and she's not without a sniff though.
Okay, let's pick the eyes through the rest of them. Ruling Gold, El Hombre, and then Lightning Calder. How do you separate those 3 across the rest of the night?
I'll start with Lightning Calder. I think he's drawn the river It was a promising run yesterday off the 60, but it just depends if he can get outside him quickly. I think he'll run a good race, but barrier draw hurts him. Ruling Gold was a better run last week. I think he'd be improved for it. He's got the perfect draw to follow Helmets, and I think the horse we're following, Quick Stride, it's a good horse to follow. Follow Junior wherever he goes, and he can be getting out Rule 8, Ruling Gold, and I think that's where he'd be most dangerous. So good each way hope, more a place chance with luck. And what was the other one you said?
El Hombre.
El Hombre. Very good run last week. He was tough run first up chasing King of Swing in fast time and looked to be disappointing, but he got dragged out of it by Mr. Bushido last week, and the fact that he lost all his momentum and came again was very impressive. But tricky draw, will have to be driven a bit soft again, but wouldn't surprise me to see him be in the finish.
Well, we reckon you're due for a couple of winners, mate. All the very best this Friday night. Hopefully there might even be a Group 1 in there. Good luck.
Well, I actually said to Ross, I had a premonition many months back that this filly was gonna be the one, and we drew barrier 12 in the final. I guess we drew barrier 12 in the final, so fingers crossed. I might be, what do they call that? Telepathic.
There you go. Toot toot.
Thanks, mate. Whoop, whoop.